Hello, my darklings, and welcome. For this week's episode, we're in Philippi, West Virginia, home of the Blue and Gray Reunion, a Civil War reenactment weekend. Now, you may ask, why on earth would the Cemetery Sisters be in Philippi, West Virginia, for a Civil War reenactment? Well, let's just say things did not go exactly to plan for the first land battle of the Civil War. Stick around and find out. The Philippi Covered Bridge is the only covered bridge still in use as a U.S. highway. Plus, believe it or not, darklings, forces in the Civil War used this exact same bridge. Go figure. Here we are at the Confederate camp in Philippi. The Confederates were vastly outnumbered during the battle. In fact, during the battle, it became known afterwards as the Philippi races, because in the middle of the night, so many of the Confederates were said to have raced out of town in their skivvies. And things for the Confederates didn't get much better either. Before the battle even started, they had to deal with their own commanders sending them the completely wrong shipment of much needed munitions. They got sent 1,000 cartridges that were the completely wrong size for their weapons, plus 400 rusted muskets that had caps that were the completely wrong size. They didn't have a chance from the beginning.
Puts his foot into the stirrup. What would have been the third shot of the battle. Cannonball. This is a 6-pound iron ball, if you want.
Oh, wow.
That's basically what they fired. 6-pound iron ball move, starting out at 1,400 feet per second. And it came, they say ricochet, but that means it was bouncing. And came into the barn where he was trying to get up on the horse. That ball bounced, went through 6 walls in the barn of 2 to 2.5 inch oak planks. And along that trajectory, it hit a glancing blow to his knee and turn both ends of the bones into mush. No structural integrity left at all.
Ooh.
So here he is, first day in the Army basically, and he's laying in the barn with a busted leg that's not going to ever heal, and if it doesn't get something done, it'll kill him. So, scared, in pain, etc. This is the first engagement on land between infantry, cavalry, etc. He's scared because he doesn't know what the Union troops are going to do to a Confederate. So he drags himself through the barn, through what all the horses left in the barn, and drags himself into the corner, covers himself up with hay and hides. Now, about 4 hours after the battle is when troops from my regiment find him in the barn. And they send for me. I come in, I take a little look, and I know it's got to come off because the knee joint is just annihilated.
Yeah, gone.
Have you ever seen somebody stomp a ketchup packet? That's basically his knee. It's blown out. The skin has just been overpressurized, and it's a mess. And it's already starting to look infected from all the stuff that's in it. And I know it's got to come off. Now, here's the problem with that. I said it was torrential rains. Only 1,500 man column coming in. The wagon train was behind me. So 1,500 guys slogging down a dirt road in a torrential rain turns into deep mud. So those wagons fell further and further and further behind all night. Well, that included the hospital wagon. So my instruments, my medications, my anesthetic, I don't have anything. All I've got is my little set of pocket instruments, which would be some scalpels, a little hook, some scissors, and a couple pieces of suture. That's all I've got to work with. But I take one look at this, and I know it's got to come off. It needs to come off quick because it's already infected looking. So this young man's going to have to endure an amputation with no anesthetic. So,
No whiskey?
nope, didn't have anything.
Damn.
Unfortunately for him, he never passes out through this whole ordeal.
Oh.
He's wide awake the whole time. So I tell the boys, take the door off the barn, we'll use that for a table. And we find dozens upon dozens of cases where the doors were taken off and used for tables throughout the Civil War. Popular method of scratching up a table on short notice. So they get him up on the table, which again is absolute agony anytime you touch him.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell the guys, go find me a knife and a saw. And they could have brought back any combination of anything from a butcher's knife, saw, wood saw, blacksmith's knife.
Yeah.
Could have been pretty much anything. As long as it's got a sharp edge and some teeth on the saw, we can just about use it. Because honestly, the only real difference here is this might have some more rust than what my instruments would have.
Yeah.
So it'll do at a pinch. So once we get all that squared away, we're going to split out the clothing to pull it back. And again, this leg is just a floppy mess. Moving in any direction, not that he wants you to do that. But he's screaming, carrying on, and calling me anything but his best friend or a nice guy. So the type of amputation is called a circular, and you start and you make one continuous pass around the leg. Can't really do it on the mannequin because there's no room and the legs don't bend.
Yeah.
And the idea there is you get one incision instead of cut, and having this jagged edge. Now, as one of the other surgeons from the 7th Indiana, Dr. George New, will be assisting me. And what he's going to do is once we cut the skin, he's going to kind of give it a squeeze and pull back. And I'm going to take one of my scalpels, and we're going to start peeling the skin all the way around until we get about 3 or 4 inches of skin. Once we get back there, then we'll come here and we'll start cutting down the bone. too. Dr. New is going to get a hold of the muscles here and pull back about as hard as we can. What we're doing is we're exposing the bone, and when he's doing that, I'll be releasing the bone and getting the muscle off of it. Because what we're doing by pulling back is we're leaving more muscle and making a shorter bone, that way we have something pulled together over it and cover it. So once we got it peeled back where we want it, we'll take whatever saw the boys found. And saw it off. Just chuck the leg. Now, so what happens when you do that, you're trying to get a nice big thing here so you can pull it together. Now, whenever you cut through the muscles, the blood vessels are going to retract. Your arteries and veins are elastic, so when you move your arms, they'll stretch and give. So when you cut through them, they're going to pull back into the muscles and disappear. So what we're doing now is the third guy that was assisting up here holding pressure on the arteries is going to let off of that a little bit. And what we're looking for is blood to come running out of the spot in the muscle. Once you see that, I'll get in here with this hook, fishing for that artery. When I get it, I'm going to pull it out a little bit so I can see it. And a little stitch in it to tie it. Now we'll be doing it, since this is mid-thigh, we'll be doing this at least 3 times. You've got the femoral artery, the deep femoral artery, and the profunda or perforating artery. Now, your veins in your legs have valves, so when your heart beats, the blood moves up, but it only can run back down so far. And it's kind of you never know where the valves are going to be. So where we've made the incisions, if there is a vein coming in that is below a valve, you're going to have oozing from that. So you may have to stitch and tie off some of the veins too. But you're going to have at least 3 at a mid-thigh amputation. Now, the description of how the amputation was done, feel around on your side here, this little notch. That's called the greater trochanter. That's the landmark for the hip, right? Because we don't have x-rays.
Yeah.
So this is your landmark for the hip, and the bone was cut approximately 7 inches from that. Once we get all those tied off, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that short one. We'll leave this string long. We'll come back to that and I'll explain why. So once we've got all this done, Dr. New's going to pull the skin down and shape the muscles and the skin over like a cone, and then we'll put some stitches in it to hold it in place. You ever heard of like a ladies' aid society? Like the church ladies' aid group?
Yeah.
These perform a important service for doctors. When they're shave buzz balls off of clothes, they'd save it. Because we could use that, slap that right on that open end of that wound that's about that big, and it kind of performs like a cap. It's not going to grow into the wound because it's not going to be there that long. It's just basically a cap on it. This is blood, something to set up in and help protect that. Now, once we get that on, dress the wound, etc., we got these out here. Familiar with the phrase pull the plug? Yeah, this is where it comes from. If you're literally going to pull a plug. Every one of these that we've tied off and left this long tie on, 10 to 12 days later, somebody's going to have to come along and gently pull the end off of that blood vessel. It has clotted, died, and is rotting, and it has to come out. So, gently pull the plug, and then the pus and dead tissue will come out.
Oh.
And if you pull too hard, you're going to bleed to death.
Ooh.
So that's why the negative connotation of pulling the plug exists, because you can easily kill somebody at this point pulling those off. Sit down for the rest of the description. For a short period of time, I think he was exchanged like maybe August, and he goes home. He tries to find a job. Young man, very intelligent, 2 years of engineering school, and he tries to get a job as a teacher. No hiring. If you're an amputee, you're considered an invalid. He tries to get a job as an apprentice to a watchmaker. No hiring. He tries to try to get several jobs. Nobody's going to hire him because he's an amputee and they're considering a lost cause invalid. So, he's fighting depression hard, body image loss, and all that. So he kind of goes home, stomps up the stairs with a peg leg, and goes in his old bedroom and kind of shuts himself away from everything. And they're bringing him food. Then he starts asking for stuff like barrel staves and pieces of leather and what have you. And he's putting out piles of wood shavings with the dishes from the food department. And they think, well, maybe he's just like whittling wood to pass the time while he adjusts to his new version of life. And about 4 to 6 weeks of that, one day he comes walking down the stairs on 2 legs. Not on a peg leg, and it looks like he's walking down on 2 legs. This young man has invented the world's first multi-joint prosthetic. He had a knee and an ankle joint, and he had what appears to be a normal walking gait. The foot flex, the knee flex, and anytime you build the better mousetrap, the world will be a path to your door. And that's exactly what happened. He had friends that had been amputees, they wanted one. Their friends who were amputees wanted one. Of course. And so he's making legs, and they got to the point where he had to teach other people how to make legs because he couldn't keep up with demand. And it just kept growing exponentially. And he started, for example, Virginia eventually contracted with him to start making amputees. Other southern states started contracting with him. And after the war, some of the Union states started. And he's starting these offices all up and down the East Coast and training people to make prosthetics. Now, as late as World War I in Europe, they're still handing out peg legs to their amputees, like France. France and the British were doing peg legs. So he goes overseas and trains people there how to make these multi-joint prosthetics. James Hanger is the founder of Hanger Orthopedics, which is a medical supply prosthetics company, still in existence. Look him up on the internet. I know there's one here in the area somewhere, I just don't remember where it is. But this young man is a perfect example of the phoenix rising from the ashes and personally wrecked life and changing his trajectory in life and changing the world for so many other people. What he's doing. Amazing young man, really.
Yeah, it's a miracle he made it.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it. And really, he's as important figure as individuals like Dr. Mayo, Mayo Clinic, all that, because he created a medical industry. There was no prosthetics industry until him. So to create an entire discipline of medicine is quite the achievement.
You may want to know what I'm doing under this tree. Well, or what a tree has to do with a battle. Well, the only fatal casualty of the Battle of Philippi is tied to a tree, or rather, a log. You see, when the Union troops were on their way to Philippi, Private Charles Dagner, he sort of tripped on a log, shot himself in the leg, and bled to death. He's buried somewhere along the marching line in an unmarked grave. No one knows where. Speaking of casualties, at the end of the battle, when all was said and done, there were only 30. 4 Union and 26 to the Confederates. None of which were fatal. Well, except for Dagner, who tripped and shot himself in the leg. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
You gotta go through me! Let's push her!
Oh, here comes the, oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, crap.
No. Not.
I'll just pick it up behind you.
Philippi is also home of the Philippi mummies, but they're not Egyptian, they're Victorian. Come on inside and we'll find out why. Here we are in the museum in Philippi, West Virginia. And me and my friend Lurch want to wish you all weird and wonderful adventures of your own. Thanks for watching.